They say knowledge is power. But if there's one lesson life teaches us again and again, it's that knowledge without discipline is nothing but potential wasted. And perhaps no one knew this more painfully than Napoleon Hill himself, the very man who taught millions how to think, grow, and rise above failure. When we hear the name Napoleon Hill today, we think of Think and Grow Rich, a classic book that has changed the lives of millions across generations. We think of principles like desire, faith, persistence, and the power of the subconscious mind. We think of riches not just in money but in purpose, ambition, and spirit. But what we don't often talk about is how Hill, the man behind these grand ideas, struggled deeply with the one thing he preached: the ability to control money. Not earn it, not attract it, but keep it. And that's where the real lesson lies for you and me. Because earning money? That's just one part of the journey. Managing it with wisdom, preserving it with discipline, and growing it with intelligence. That's where transformation happens. That's where legacies are built. You see, Napoleon Hill wasn't born into wealth. Like many of us, he started with dreams and drive. In fact, he worked hard, fought adversity, and clawed his way into rooms most people never enter. He rubbed shoulders with industrial giants, interviewed men like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie. He had insight, access, and eventually influence, but with every peak in his life came a painful valley. And many of those valleys were dug by one recurring flaw: his inability to manage money with consistency and control. Hill earned well during different chapters of his life. Royalties from his writing, speaking engagements, consulting opportunities, the doors were open. And yet, again and again he found himself broke. Not because the opportunities weren't there, not because life was unfair, but because he didn't protect his money like he should have. And here's where the mirror turns to us. How many times have we made decent money, only to wonder where it all went? How many paychecks have passed through our hands, leaving behind stress instead of security? How often do we treat money like a temporary guest instead of a lifelong ally? Hill's story isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a personal challenge. Because if a man who wrote the manual on success could fall victim to poor financial habits, so can we, if we don't pay attention. Let's imagine this together. You're finally earning more than you used to. You've worked hard, you've grown, you're more skilled, more disciplined in your craft. And yet, your bank account still feels like a revolving door. Why? Because income doesn't equal wealth. And wealth doesn't come from hustle alone, it comes from habit, from discipline, from doing what's boring, consistent, and smart over and over again. Napoleon Hill at times spent beyond his means. He invested in ventures with more emotion than evaluation. He chased ideas that looked brilliant in theory but bled him dry in practice. And worst of all, he didn't always plan for the droughts between the rains. You and I? We've probably been there too. Maybe we splurged after a big win. Maybe we ignored our gut and put money into a too-good-to-be-true project. Maybe we kept living at the edge of our income because we believed more was always coming. But the truth is this: without financial discipline, success becomes fragile. One bad decision, one missed opportunity, one unexpected expense, and the house of cards collapses. Hill's own words echo this reality. He once said, "If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self." That's the heart of the matter. We are not defeated by the market or the economy or our boss. We are defeated by our habits, our impulses, our lack of preparation. Financial discipline isn't sexy. It doesn't trend on social media. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. It's freedom. It's peace of mind. It's waking up in the morning knowing you're not a slave to the next invoice or emergency. And here's the twist: Hill's failure became his fuel. He didn't hide from it. He learned. He grew. He refined his thinking. In fact, much of Think and Grow Rich was written after he had already hit rock bottom more than once. That book wasn't written by a man who always won. It was written by a man who lost, reflected, and rose again. So what can we take from this? What practical shift can you and I make starting today? First, awareness. Know where your money is going. Track it. Respect it. Because if you ignore it, it will quietly disappear, and you won't even notice until it's too late. Second, plan for peace, not just for profit. Don't let your lifestyle expand every time your income does. Leave room. Build margins. Let your money breathe. That space becomes your safety net. Third, resist the urge to impress. Napoleon Hill sometimes lived larger than life, even when he didn't have the means to support it. And in today's world, it's even easier to fall into that trap. We buy things not because we need them, but because we want to be seen. But true power comes from humility, from knowing you don't have to prove anything to anyone. Fourth, invest in your foundation. That means education, skill building, financial literacy. Don't chase shortcuts. Build slowly, brick by brick. Because fast money often leaves just as quickly as it came. Fifth, reflect. Regularly. Ask yourself, if I lost everything tomorrow, what would I regret most financially? That question cuts through the noise. It forces clarity. It brings you back to what truly matters. And finally, forgive yourself, but don't excuse yourself. If you've made financial mistakes, and we all have, don't let shame paralyze you. But also, don't pretend it didn't happen. Learn from it. Journal it. Use it as fuel. Because here's the deeper truth. Discipline is freedom. It's not about restriction. It's about power. It's about choice. When you control your spending, your saving, your strategy, you regain control of your life. Napoleon Hill may have struggled with money management, but he gave us a gift. A mirror. He showed us that even the wisest among us can fall without discipline. But he also showed us how to rise. Not by luck, not by chance, but by choice. We're not meant to be slaves to our past mistakes. We're meant to use them as stepping stones. Every financial misstep you've made, every credit card you maxed out, every dollar you wasted, every check you bounced, they don't define you. They instruct you. And maybe that's the most powerful legacy Napoleon Hill left behind. Not just a roadmap to riches, but a reminder that riches without responsibility collapse. That knowledge without action is just noise. That success without structure is unsustainable. So let's choose a better way. Let's honor Hill's journey by learning from both his genius and his flaws. Let's not just think and grow rich. Let's plan, protect, and preserve rich. Because money is more than paper. It's potential. And when you master it, with calm, clear, consistent discipline, you don't just grow rich. You grow powerful. You grow free. You grow whole. And isn't that what we're all really chasing?